Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome your faces back to another day and another video on Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, where today we will actually be going over the patch notes that are going to be happening later on for the game. Now, why am I going over the patch notes? I haven't gone over them before. Well, it's because we've actually got early access to the patch notes this time, so I thought it'd actually be worth it to record this. Remember how in my video about the problems that Gekishin Squadra had, that I mentioned about the creator program, how they wasn't doing much of anything for privileges? Well, they've actually rectified it. So, we've got access to patch notes early, but not only that, we would also be getting access to the new character early as well. That will be happening on Monday, so watch out for a stream then, from when this video goes up, that is. But I'll be also streaming the Squadra Talk, that will be happening on Sunday as well, when this video will be going up. So that's our embargo that we have. I'm allowed to record this today on Friday, or tomorrow if I wanted to, but aren't allowed to upload this until early Sunday morning for us. So let's get into the patch notes. So our buffs that we have right here, we have for Super Saiyan Son Goku, quite simply, Kamehameha decreased by 1 second. Not really going to do much. I mean, Goku wasn't exactly, or this Goku wasn't exactly bad in any way, or the best in any way, so it's whatever. Piccolo, Light Grenade, damage distance fall off decreased. So he's gonna have a little bit less of damage fall off. So that means if you're a good Piccolo sniper, you're gonna be doing a lot more work with Piccolo. Now Krillin here. Krillin has a bit of a list here. So his rush attack maximum range has been increased from 5 to 6.5 meters. That's going to be pretty massive, considering he definitely needed this as well. And any other buffs he has. As I want to bring you over to this as well. The hero and pick and win race that happened from June 24th to June 30th at A rank and above. We can see that Krillin not only is the second lowest pick rate, but also the lowest win rate. So any buffs he has here, he very much needed. But also this one right here, skill 1 energy mine, can no longer be destroyed by enemy attacks. Or energy attacks. Yeah, so if you recall, if you ever went against a Krillin, all you needed to do was simply use, like even Final Form Frieza, just anyone that had any sort of energy attacks could just easily dissipate his energy mines, make them useless, so they can't do that anymore. So Krillin is definitely going to be a bit more of a threat throughout any character he's facing. And then Solar Flare, shrink field of view effect increase, so he's going to be a bit more annoying with his Solar Flare. If you remember Krillin back when the game first came out, he was very annoying to deal with. He was doing a lot of damage, and also just blinding you constantly as well. So we'll see if this brings Krillin back up into relevancy. Next up, Deborah. If any of you are Deborah mains out there that can already do real work with Deborah, you're going to be absolutely thrilled with this change. So his passive, Demon's Domain. AoE increased from 2.5 to 8.1 meters to 2.5 to 9.5 meters. So I believe that's the maximum. His maximum has basically been increased that he can have. Skill 1, Doom's Ray, cooldown decreased from 11 to 9 seconds. Base HP recovery increased. So he's going to be getting more HP from this skill. So from the numbers right there, from levels 1 to 3. Darkness Spear. So status effects applied to enemy change. No vanishing step is now movement speed down. Exit and duration 30% for 2 seconds. But for skill 3, Evil Flame, status effects applied to enemy change, movement speed down to no vanishing step, and the duration is 2 seconds. They basically flips the two effects. So Darkness Spear now gives the movement speed down, and Evil Flame now gives the no vanishing step. So this can definitely be very annoying, I feel, since Evil Flame, as more of an AoE, of course, than Darkness Spear, so you could probably inflict both enemies with no vanishing step. So that could be very deadly. And Darkness Spear, I guess, is just another way of chasing down the enemy, making sure that they don't escape. Now, that's fine there. Moving on to God of Destruction, Topo. His passive, I won't be fighting for justice any longer. His mark of destruction damage has been decreased. So from 40 at level 40, 60, 80, 100 for each mark, to now 22, 33, 44, and 55. So it is a massive decrease in damage over time. But when KO'd, Mark of Destruction will now remain until after the effect timer expires, but damage effect will end. So I don't know really what this is gonna do, considering, unless I'm misremembering something with Topo, there's not really much point of the marks staying, I suppose, unless you die as you're throwing out your ult, because I think your ult would still land on the ground. That's the only thing I can see it being useful for. But anyways, skill 1, Destruction Flash. Mark of Destruction duration increased from 2.5 to 5 seconds. You're going to be seeing that throughout all his skills that have been buffed here. Demolition Tornado, same as his skill 1 that's been buffed. And skill duration decreased, so he's going to be doing his spin attack for a little bit shorter of a time, so he's going to be able to get out of it quicker. Damage interval decreased, so it's going to be doing just a little bit less damage overall. But restore base HP to self effect after infliction damage added. Now, it hasn't told us how much damage or how much HP is going to be healed compared to the damage, but that in itself sounds kind of insane, especially if you can catch multiple enemies in it. Skill 3, Sphere of Destruction Tempered, same as Skill 1 and Skill 2's buff, with the duration being increased. And Super Attack, Massive Sphere of Destruction. This, I think, is probably the biggest thing. When enemies with Mark of Destruction are hit by the explosion, their Mark of Destruction stacks will no longer be consumed. So if you end up getting them to max stacks and hitting them with that Massive Sphere of Destruction, you're going to still be able to do maximum work to them with all of your other skills, and then being taken maximum amounts of damage from that too. But then again, like I said, since the damage has been decreased overall for it, it's not going to be dealing as much. It's going to be dealing less than 2 stacks that we have now on the last stack. We'll see how this fares for Topo, but the duration increase can be a bit massive, especially if your enemy is running away and you need to catch up to them. You can do so a little bit easier now, but like I said, we'll just have to see how this fares when the patch actually goes through. And finally, for Kid Gohan, if you saw on the winning pick rates here, Gohan had the least pick rate throughout the most recent week, and also the 3rd lowest win rate, so they're adjusting him here. Though it comes to mind that, you know, someone like Zamasu is the lowest pick rate tank, though, and one of the lowest win rate tanks as well. Not as bad as Baby, but I feel like a lot of people don't see any value in Zamasu at the moment because he just doesn't really do as much than other tanks you can play right now. I mean, even Baby for that matter. Like, people have picked Baby a good amount here, with him being about halfway or just over halfway on the list, but then him having the least amount of win rates. I'm gonna say that's due to probably people being in solo queue, and the people playing Baby either don't know what they're doing, or the teammates are kind of letting them down, because Baby is a very much a teamwork character. You need to have good teamwork to use Baby. But anyways, I will be talking about the hero and win and pick rates a little bit more towards the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. But Kid Gohan, passive, friendship boost, all defense up, effect applied to self increased, so he's going to be getting a little bit more defense. And skill 3, leave this to me, AoE has been increased from 3 to 4, 5 to 6, and 9 to 10, so it's a little bit more. So that's fine. It's a little bit of a buff. I don't think this is going to be doing too much to Gohan, if I'm being real. Like I said, we'll just have to see though. But on to the nerfs now. Bojack. They're actually giving Bojack a nerf here. Your 1 Galactic Buster. Indicators during wind up showing the explosion radius added. So you're going to be able to see a little bit easier where the explosion is going to be landing. So you can probably get out of the way a little bit quicker, or vanish step out of the way quicker. And the damage has been decreased from 540 to 485, 600 to 540, and 720 to 650. So it's not too much, but it's probably going to be enough to where it's not. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't actually like that busted, but we just have to see for any of these nerfs how it goes. But for Kid Buu here, or Majin Buu Pure, skill 3, noisy chest drumming, attack AoE decreased. Skill 1 has been unaffected, but level 1 has been unaffected. Level 2, 6 to 5.5, and level 3, 10 10 to 8.5. Additional movement speed down effects from parts with it in AoE decrease, so you're going to be getting slowed down a little bit less than you would usually. And duration of lingering movement speed down effect after leaving AoE decreased as well. So it's just an overall, you're not going to be hit from as far away, and you're not going to be slowed down as much, which is fine. That's a fine nerf. I think he needed that anyway. And super attack Earthbreaker cooldown increased by a whole 20 seconds, and duration of movement speed down effect applied when grabbed by clones decreased as well, from 5 to 1.5 seconds. So this is basically all just thoroughly decreasing his movement speed down effects, which I think is fine. They're not decreasing his damage or anything. I think his damage is probably fine for now. It's just that he was very a nuisance, very much a nuisance with his speed down effects. And as you know, I played Kid Buu a lot, and also had the effect of Kid Buu's speed down effect be a lot as well. So I can say definitely was needed. So God Goku here, skill 3 Dragon Enhanced, additional damage decreased. So you're going to be doing a little bit less damage with his burn, and his cooldown's been increased as well. It's fine. I think it did need that anyway because he was still very powerful. Divine combo cards. This one I feel like is very interesting as well. So build up, all defense up gain increase, so he's getting a little bit more for getting a stack, but the necessary number of NPC KOs or assists required for all defense up has been increased from 3 NPCs to 5. If you remember back in the day when build up was first there, I believe it was 25 for a stack. We only needed 2 NPCs. Then obviously they nerfed it from 15 per stack to needing 3 enemies as well. And now finally they've done 22 for a stack. We need 5 NPCs. I've done the calcs already for it. So that max stack stacks for this one, for the one we have right now before the patch, you'll get an extra 225 defense. And after, when this goes through, you'll be getting an extra 220 defense. So you are doing I think you are doing a bit more work for a little bit less. But I think in the early stages, it might be a little bit more noticeable at the very least. But the number of additional all defense up decreased from 15 to 10. So once you reach 10, that'll be max stacks again, just like before. Defense step cooldown increased from 4 to 12 seconds. That's a lot. If you're spamming that from before, you can't anymore, unfortunately. Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Skill 3 instant transmission. Cooldown reduction after targeting enemy hero and activating a skill decreased from 20 to 15 seconds. And time between skill activation and start of teleport increased. So it takes a tiny bit longer to get out with your IT. So if you're spamming that from before and you aren't, I think you're getting your skill back quicker actually with that one, technically. It looks like for that one. So not really much at all. I think his Kame still needs a very slight nerf, even after the one they gave him. Other than that, it's whatever, it's fine. For Super Vegito, skill 1, Spirit Sword, damage decreased. His Spirit Sword could be very oppressive. Absolutely, especially with combined with his passive. Fine enough, not really much to say about that one. Bulma, a passive hover car, rate at which fuel replenishes per second outside of combat decreased from 12.5 to 8. That's fine as well, just because she could very much get away very easily at times, especially when she's already had to use fuel. So this is just going to ensure she doesn't get away as quickly. And skill 1, capsule shelter. Wait, isn't that supposed to be skill 3? Skill 3, Capsule Shelter. I think someone typed that one. Cooldown has been increased from 6 to 10 seconds. As you know, a Capsule Shelter would mainly be used for getting the likes of the Kai, or maybe even blocking off the enemies from damaging the boss, so you can guarantee to get that. So that's a fine one they've done as well for Bulma. It makes it so she can do that less often. I feel like she's still going to be able to do that a lot though. So, adjustments now. So these are neither buffs or like nerfs, or like they're both, I suppose. But Super Saiyan Broly, or Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, passive Fiendish Tenacity, energy defense up to stealth effect added with the passive, and maximum damage scaling of rush attacks increased. So you're going to be doing a lot more damage with that passive as long as you're able to build that bar up. Your 2 gigantic stop damage decreased 405 to 360, 450 to 400, and 540 to 480. And Divine Combo cards, Super Snowball. All attack up increase reduced, so you're going to be getting a little bit less damage per stack, and additional number of all attack up increased. So it was 5 before, now it has been increased to 8. I did the calculations before, but now I've forgotten what the calculations are. Let me do this again. So the original, you were able to get up to an extra 200 attack up from before this patch is going to go live. But now, with the one that's been introduced, oh, it's still 200. Okay, so basically, you're doing more work for the same is what's happening here, which I think a lot of people would say, yeah, that was definitely needed, since Super Snowball can still be very, very bad. But it also means it's more punishing if you get killed with max stacks with Snowball, so you'd have to think a little bit more if you really want to use Super Snowball. Gekishin rules, bosses, spawn timing adjusted. The first boss is the same, second boss 15 seconds less. For the third boss, that's 30 seconds less, and the same for the fourth boss. So every boss is going to be spawning a little more sooner. Enemy NPCs spawn conditions adjusted. Gekishin Burst can no longer be activated when there is no allied Xeno in the enemy god destructions area. So I suppose, like, were you able to somehow get a little bit of chip damage on before when Xeno wasn't there? I mean, most people in their right mind wouldn't activate a Gekishin Burst in general. Maybe if the tower was literally 1 HP, you can literally just go in there and have that, like, the guaranteed hit with the Gekishin Burst go off. So I guess maybe that stops that in general. But this one here, damage of Gekishin Burst, including when cancelling, adjusted. They haven't told us how though. It's been increased or decreased? I'm gonna say they decreased it. No, maybe they listened to some of my video? Maybe? For some of this stuff? Who knows? But the last thing here, improvements. Gekishin rules, route indicators. The first NPC each team will encounter will now display the route on the route indicator for each lane at the start of battle, so it tells you exactly where the NPC is. Not sure if we needed that. Maybe for the very newest players, that would be useful. Status effect. There's still an attack status effect that's been adjusted. The amount of attack power granted by the effect will no longer update, even if the target's attack power changes during the effect's duration. The effect will no longer end automatically if the target is KO'd while the effect is active. For this one, even if the target's attack power changes during the effect duration. So you will still have the effect of steal attack, I suppose, if you KO the target, I believe, or you. I don't know who else has this effect other than God Vegeta though. I could be wrong with thinking that. We'll just have to see what that means when the real thing comes about, or the real patch note comes about. Friends, the playlist and party features are now combined into a single screen, so it's going to be a bit more, well, without seeing any of these features, I'm not really going to be able to describe them, but I guess it'll just be easier to navigate. The playlist button has been removed in line with its party screen integration, but I think everything is just going to be a little bit more streamlined. Custom battle, spectator view improved, KO announcements added, player info adjusted, and KO's defeats assist added to the UI. Spectators can now see HP values when mystery HP is active. Players control input. So this is just going to be a lot easier for any commentators over any tournaments, or just people who have set up tournaments in general, be able to see and have things a little bit more in depth, so they could probably have a little bit better commentary. That's what I'm gonna feel like is gonna happen here. The home role ranks will now only display when ranked battle has been selected. Visual collection, player information screen added for viewing a chosen visual. But yeah, that's about it for all of the patch notes. As I said, I was gonna go a little bit over the hero winning pick rates here as well. Obviously, Krillin and Gohan are the least picked, with Gohan actually getting a tiny bit of a buff, and Krillin actually getting a decent buff as well. But they haven't done anything for Gammas 1 and 2 either though. They definitely are in need of something here, with them being the least picked DPS for one thing, and not even having that high of a win rate either. Deborah has been one of the least picked DPS, though I feel like he's actually been decent for with the Deborahs I faced anyway, and his win rate's always been low as well. But this buff they've given Deborah will be absolutely massive, I feel like, so we'll just have to see how he does here. Obviously, any of these other pick and win rates you can see right here. Like I said, I can't show this until early Sunday morning my time, so from when I record this, when you're viewing this, I will most likely be streaming when this goes up, by the way. Obviously, go check out the stream. The Squadra Talk will be going on at that time, I believe. So if you happen to be watching this while the Squadra Talk's going on, I'll be watching that. So you can come over and say a little hello hi. If I'm not streaming this at the moment, then hit the follow button on my Twitch. You can see when I go live next. Anyway, moving on. Zamasu, as well, is the least picked tank, but they haven't given him anything either. So I'm hoping they're going to be eventually seeing to him, especially with him not even having that high of a win rate either. Not the least amount that a tank has, but it's the second lowest, so it definitely calls to something. Fat Boo, obviously people don't really pick him as often, as there's just a lot better choices. Though Krillin and Gohan still being picked less than Boo. I guess Boo does have his his place within being the only character that can like actually heal your teammate. Boo at least has something going for him. You know, Kale's down here just because he's not really done too much. Yeah, Hit's down here as well just because of that nerf they gave Hit. He's definitely been picked a lot less. Though he's had a decent amount of win rate, it's still under half, which means basically any characters here that are under half win rate in matchups where there aren't mirror matches, they're still losing. So God Goku most likely have been a lot of mirror matches as well. Still has half and half, and you know, if you remember, I never showed the previous pick and win rates, but Super Saiyan 3 Goku was actually at the top here with a 15% pick rate. I believe it was 15%, and also the highest win rate as well. Basically meaning that anytime you weren't picking Goku, you're most likely losing. So they've nerfed him now, so it's gone down a little bit more, but he's still a little bit oppressive. But yeah, I think I've said everything that I wanted to say about winning pick rates. You can see for yourself all of these here. You can give your own opinions on that, and also you can give your own opinions on the patch notes as well that I've gone through. But anyways, that will be it for now for this video on the patch notes. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think these patch notes are good. Let me know if you think that they needed to do something else for them, or any other characters that needed buffs or nerfs. Just let me know. But if you did enjoy this, either hit that like button down below or just tell me that you enjoyed it. But I will see, this video will be uploaded on Sunday, like I said. So I will see you lot for then. And also for the Squadra talk, if you also did tune in for that, and also on Monday for when I'll be playing the new character early. So whatever character has been introduced or been announced will be coming up first on the Squadra talk. I will be playing that early, so look forward to that. But yeah, anyways, have yourselves a good one, and I'll see you lot for the next video. So yeah, have yourselves a good one, and see ya.